He's
might
not
be premature.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to con him into stopping the fight, and that's not going to work.
Good elbow, just glanced over
Hamill
the
has
forehead.
tremendous heart, and he will take these shots.
Always
right
the
now,
underdog.
he's blocking them.
Yep.
He's doing a good job.
Big elbows.
Can't do 12 to 6.
Stand up.
The up to down elbow from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock is illegal.
1 point. Downward elbow.
Now you want to know how ridiculous it is? This is why it's illegal, because when they were trying to pass the rules at the commission,
You done?
people in the commission had seen fights.
He might be done.
That's it.
It's all up. Matt Hamill has been defeated by Jon Jones. Jones 10-0 now.
Ladies
in
and
his mixed
gentlemen,
martial arts
referee
career.
Steve Mazzagatti has called a stop to this contest. Due to intentional elbows, there's been a disqualification of Jonny Bones Jones. Therefore, the winner is Matt Hamill.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Jon Bones Jones, after rising through the UFC ranks as a promising future giant of the light heavyweight division, tearing through 9 straight opponents, was met with a controversial yet brutal disqualification against Matt Hamill in 2009. The decision was disputed by Dana White and Hamill himself. However, the objection to the decision could not prevent what was to come next, a terrifying reign through the UFC for the next 5 years. The legendary Jon Jones disintegrated some of the best fighters in the world through sheer brutality and precision, a monster combo that has since landed Jones firmly in the greatest of all time conversation. In this episode, we will take a look at the brutal revenge trail of Bones.
The elder of Jon Bones Jones.
Just 4 months later, promising light heavyweight Brandon Vera would bear to be the first casualty on Jones' brutal reign. Vera was a strong fighter, but Jones' aggression had other plans for Vera. Jones' greatest weapon is his unrivaled length and reach. Vera learned a brutal lesson in 2009 when Jon Jones dropped a perfect elbow combination on Vera.
Yep.
Big take, because
Disrupt the breathing pattern of Brandon Vera.
Brandon doing a good job defensively, though.
Big elbow.
Ate a shot there.
Oh yeah, that hurt.
Wow.
Jon Jones defeats Brandon.
I don't think I've ever seen him turn.
The fight was called, and Bones had began his merciless run.
I don't think he's ever experienced a fighter like me. My goal is just to go out there and be something that he's never even seen before.
Jon Jones faced Belarusian Vladimir Matushenko. The bout would be a classic episode of the speed and viciousness of Jones, who wasted no time in submitting Matushenko. Matushenko had a monster weight advantage over Jones, but Jones' 7'1" reach advantage nullified his stocky challenger.
Nice spinning back kick to the body. Underneath the outer leg.
Jones tipped the challenger to the canvas early in the first round and swiftly put his opponent in a mounted crucifix. Matushenko was at the mercy of Jones, who further landed the most devastating elbows on his opponent, who was taken to safety by the match official.
It's over. Vicious.
Angle like this is incredible. Bam, bam. The speed and the accuracy. You know, Herb Dean.
Ryan Bader is one of the strongest UFC light heavyweights of all time. Before fighting Jon Jones, he went undefeated in 12 fights.
Very intense. Ryan Bader staring him in the
Gentlemen, protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're gonna have a clean fight. Touch gloves, just make it official.
Bader provided Jones with a struggle fest of a first round, when Bader's jiu-jitsu buzzsaw had Jones locked in on the canvas early on.
Watch his right hand. If his right hand scoops under and grabs the hold of his hands, he is going for it.
Looking for the shot.
Stuffed easily stuffed by Jones. But that reach is tough.
The second round had Bader walking into the Jones trap, keeping his distance, landing blows on Bader before closing the distance himself.
Bader trying to get the clinch.
Bader stuffs that takedown attempt.
Jones.
Jones put Bader on the floor and then carried out a perfect guillotine submission, to which Bader had to wave the white flag between the unstoppable pressure mounted from Jones.
It enables him to attack with chokes. Oh, he got hands all over! Tightened it right up, twisted it. Bader was...
Jon Jones in 2011 had signaled his intentions as the brutal conqueror of the UFC. At 23 years old, he would face the light heavyweight champion in his first ever title fight, Shogun Rua.
Check that out. Bones versus Shogun.
205 for the challenger!
Rua was 19-4 and had left a monster massacre of the legendary fighters of the UFC, racking up an iconic resume of Rampage Jackson, Big Nog, Overeem, Randleman, Mark Coleman, Chuck Liddell, and most recently, Brazilian demigod Lyoto Machida.
Welcome back inside the Rock Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey.
Shogun was a brute, and 23-year-old Jon Jones had had his initiation of fire.
Touch gloves, make it official.
Nice
And
knee.
another one.
Oh, good left hand.
Jones looking to tee off.
Shogun's hurt. He's hurt, Mike. He's wobbled. To the body. Nice.
Jones was dominant from the beginning, displaying his exceptional striking ability and length.
There's
One
one
leg
kick.
kick and he takes it.
Big shot by Jones.
Jones broke down Shogun Rua until his strength and pressure finally culminated in a titanic left shot, immediately sinking Rua.
Trying to finish this fight.
Shogun's badly hurt, Mike.
Jones to the body. And it is all over. Jon Jones.
That led
The fight meant that Jon Jones, at 23 years old, became the youngest champion in UFC history.
lived up to the hype and surpassed it. You are the new light heavyweight champion and one of the best fighters in the game. Jon Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Since Rampage has been in the UFC, he has been defeated, but he's never been finished. It's just going to be a great day for me. I will win this fight.
Jon Jones defended his title against the brutal legend Rampage Jackson just 6 months later. Rampage was outclassed by Jones for 4 rounds. Jones' athleticism flooded Jackson's strength.
Few and far between.
Another nice leg kick, 2 in a row.
Leg kick was there a moment ago. Now he wants the leg, does Jones.
He's got him down. Comes right
Vicious
down.
elbows. Looking to finish the fight right here.
Rampage is trying to control his
and designed the ultimate fighter. And there's the flying knee. I mean, at times, Jon Jones.
Oh, look at that. He
Right.
And it was in the 4th round where Bones submitted Rampage via a rear naked chokehold.
He's got his back.
That's what Jones wants. Looking to finish this fight.
Quinn's trying to pry it off.
And it's all over!
What a spectacular, flawless performance.
Jones was beginning to steam through the light heavyweight division as not only the conqueror, but the Grim Reaper of legendary opponents. Lyoto Machida, a ferocious technical nightmare, was 17-2 before facing Jones, fresh off an iconic knockout of Randy Couture.
I know what it's like to be the world champion, and I know that he wants that back. I'm not giving it back to him.
The fight was up-tempo, playing into Jones' strengths early on.
Fights orthodox. He does everything crazy. It's so
Brothers in the National Football League.
Another
Nice
powerful leg kick.
But the counter by... Oh! Pushing forward again is McWard.
Let's take a
Late in the 2nd round, Jones clinched Machida against the cage. What followed is likely the most terrifying standing guillotine submission in history.
Good clinch. Nope. Lost his title to the show.
by Jon Jones.
And now Jones looks for the
huge takedown
takedown.
by Jon. And he did that when he used his wrestling. Oh!
Again, they battle, and another to choke him out and
He's
finish the
standing
fight
again.
here.
Lyoto's in trouble.
Trying to finish this fight. He
He's
may
out.
be- It is all over.
Thankfully recognizes it. He sees that right arm go limp. And what a huge, huge victory for Jon Jones.
The defeat of Machida truly signaled to the world the Damocles sword that is Jon Bones Jones, a merciless punisher of the great UFC champions. In 2012, Jones was in the middle of his all-time rise when legendary fighter Vitor Belfort stepped up to the plate in the light heavyweight division. In UFC 152, 5 months post-defeat of legend Rashad Evans, Jones proved to be a nightmare opposition for Belfort. Jones' limb size and control was the worst concoction against Belfort.
By the time I fight, I feel as if I know my opponent as well as they know themselves.
Belfort is one of the most remarkable and iconic UFC fighters, with a career dating back to 1996. Belfort, an exceptionally violent master of BJJ judo and boxing, would provide to the world some iconic moments in the ring. Belfort, 21-9 heading into the Jones bout, could not contend with Jones' size. Early in the round, Belfort almost caught Jones in an armbar. However, Jones continued to close the distance rapidly throughout the fight, Belfort providing little resistance to Jones, who eventually caught Belfort and submitted the Brazilian legend via a keylock submission.
And he might have popped his arm. We don't know how John's arm is right now. Watch this, Mike. Boom, right to be Vitor. Yeah. Again, he pulls him into his guard. This is so crazy. He winds out control here. Now he's going for Kimura.
It is all over!
That's it.
John Jones, the UFC light heavyweight champion.
You see, he pins down that arm, wraps it up, and look how he immediately brings it down to the hip.
Undisputed UFC.
I have a hard time responding when John says he's just going to decide to fight me. No, you don't have to. You're the alleged champion. You're going to put the belt up against whoever you're asked to. And if you don't, you can leave. It's a volunteer army. But you don't decide anything.
Chael Sonnen, one of the most recognizable UFC legends, especially out of the ring, was one of the toughest fighters for most of his career, racking up a 28-13 record before his clash with the killer Jon Jones.
Fighters are lazy and they're disorganized.
Give me your instructions, protect yourself at all times, listen to my commands at all times. Touch gloves if you like. Let's fight.
Sonnen, an all-world wrestling monster, had no response to Jones in the first round of their clash, Jones' length providing serious leverage all around, pinning Sonnen to the cage, then dominating him on the floor. With 30 seconds to go, opening the challenger and landing a series of aggressive punches, ending the fight.
It's all over! Jon Jones has been...
Jon Jones by 2013 was firming as the greatest light heavyweight of all time. And when Jones faced giant Swedish fighter Alexander Gustafsson, Jones would break the record for the most light heavyweight championship title defenses. The victory came against Gustafsson, who was one of the more respected fighters at the time, and was a rare occasion where Jones did not have any serious size advantage in the cage. Gustafsson was 15-1 before fighting Jones, another great fighter to challenge the champion, and another strong name under his belt. Jones won via a unanimous decision, but Gustafsson ultimately provided some of the most serious resistance to Jones.
On his cut over the right eye.
90 seconds of blood rolling down the right side of Jon Jones's face. Gustafsson with the takedown.
After being busted up early, the challenger tore through Jones on occasion.
Look
at that! Dose! The Jon...
Both Jones and Alexander traded massive shots and engaged in an awesome slugfest. As the fight went on, the fight looked close, both fighters having their moments.
Look at the cut over the eye of Jon Jones.
And that cut,
Here's a nice elbow.
Caught him.
Oh, that might have hurt him.
Yeah, that did. Jones with a takedown.
Gustafsson might be in trouble, Mike.
2 minutes on the clock.
Both of these guys are pushed to their limit.
With the Swedish challenger being Jones' most toughest, gritty victory yet, Jones won via a decision, but post-fight, Jones had to be taken to hospital.
The undisputed.
Glover Teixeira is an absolute monster.
He hit him with a nice left hook there, Mother. Rampage was not happy with the way things had gone. Mike Tyson just got up and clapped, and Glover came up to him to tell him he's a fan.
Jon Jones isn't invincible after all. That's what Jones' detractors were saying post-slugfest to Gustafsson. But in the following bout against Glover Teixeira, the seemingly human Jon Jones flipped the switch and looked inhuman once more.
34, but the numbers to look at, Joe. 84.5, 75.
Teixeira on paper may have been one of the toughest opponents for Jones, with a 22-2 record, torpedoing into his clash with Jones off of 20 straight victories. The champion utilized his range early on in the fight to open up the lead against the Brazilian challenger before closing the distance to bludgeon his opponent as the fight wore on. But as the fight wore on, it was clear Teixeira wasn't the same fighter he had demonstrated for years. Jones had dwarfed the challenger by repelling all of his attempted takedowns.
Nice knee to the body after the guillotine. There's an uppercut.
I'll train for these last 2 rounds.
Here's a nice uppercut kick by Jon. front leg side kick to the thigh. Devastating technique. Slicing it with a beautiful elbow. And another one.
And again with the elbow.
Inside.
Oh, nice elbow again.
Hard elbow.
That one on the jaw.
And knee.
Watch for a spin.
Jones dominated Teixeira for a decision, and post-fight, it became clear that there are few names left to challenge John Bones Jones.
And still the undisputed UFC.
Daniel D.C. Cormier, one of the greatest wrestling talents the UFC has ever seen.
That goes to show your level of education that you count that as a fight. Well, I'm glad you won this one because you're not winning the next time I get my hands on you.
I whooped your ass.
John Jones and DC had no love lost pre-fight, both fighters clashing multiple times before finally colliding in the ring.
Fight to me? Please do it.
There's nothing you can do to stop me, Daniel Cormier. Expect very malicious, violent things to happen. Hey, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake and like when the TV comes on, how you can just change.
Thank you.
You're the scum of the earth. You are a terrible human being, but you can sure turn it on.
Cormier was undefeated and looked a good shot to dethrone the champ.
Kick to the body.
But what happened was an exceptional display of Jones' wrestling talents, taking apart the seemingly more skilled Cormier for 5 rounds, winning via a decision.
Look at this, John, second down, DC! Second! Takedown. John just raises his arms up, and then left hooks Daniel, because the fight had not ended yet. But Daniel...
You see the discrepancy in height, but it's the reach that everybody's...
And it was 2 fights later that the greatest rivalry in UFC history in Jones versus Cormier was concluded in brutal fashion.
These are my instructions at all times. I want you to fight hard but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good, step.
Jones and Cormier were battering rams once more before Jones took apart Cormier.
It's getting clipped every here and there, just like every other fight though. I mean, both these guys are getting hit. Less than 2 minutes here to go round 1.
Both fighters exchanged blows over 3 rounds, either fighters desperate to destroy the other. Jones' superhuman reach finally took over, landing a giant head kick on Cormier, who stumbled around, before Jones punished Cormier via a bevy of punches.
He's just having a hard time reaching John. Oh, John landed on that kick. He's hurt.
DC was stunned by that head kick. Jones trying to press the issue here.
The brutal demolition of Cormier was stripped from Jones as the champ post-fight had tested positive for a turinabol metabolite, having the fight ruled as a no contest.
And now, and again, the new...
Jones, since Cormier too, has faced a well-documented serious amount of out-of-the-ring problems, including allegations of dirty fighting in the ring, while going on to fight a further 4 times for 4 wins with a scheduled bout for 2023 with Ciryl Gane. However, Jones' merciless revenge trail in the light heavyweight division is only truly rivaled by the likes of Georges St-Pierre, as the list of legendary talent taken apart by Jones will go down in any Hall of Fame fighting resumes. John Jones has been one of the most polarizing figures in fighting sports, but his wide range of tools has created quite possibly the greatest fighting machine the world has ever seen. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel for more fighting sports content.